Hi, Smiles Red Songbird, Michelle Birdsong in New York City. This is part 3 of the Edwin Birdsong Sing Robin and Michelle Birdsong story. Talk and Share Method of Overcoming Grief, ebook by the Michelle Birdsong at Amazon Kindle store. Don't underestimate that book. If you're feeling grief, check it out. It'll help you. It's a very simple and natural way of releasing, blocking, and painful emotions. Okay, I want to say Robin called me from Los Angeles telling me about the funeral. Excuse me. Edwin used to do that. He used to always clear his throat like that. Edwin just spoke to me. This is a very supernatural time for me. And it has been for the past 2 years that I've been reading energy of the dead people come to life. And Edwin made a very nice speech to me about, I don't even know if I remember it. It's about a few minutes ago when I was about falling asleep. And he just said that I had uplifted him and I had caused him to have a good life. I don't remember. Isn't that odd? I don't remember what he said, but it was an humble and sweet speech. I never heard him talk like that before. But it was a recognition of my contribution to his incarnation as Edwin Birdsong. Robin said that after the funeral she was sad to see she had missed Steve. She wanted to say hello to him. And then she saw that he was at the repast. And she said the word repast 3 times. And she said, you know what I'm talking about? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. She said, it's the food that you eat after the funeral. And I said, oh, okay. And then I thought about that word repast, to visit again the past. That is what I am doing. Not only the past this life, but the past during the past lives. And I have to thank my personal spiritual guide, Charan Singh, for initiating me into mysticism, where during years of meditation, you still your mind so you can see into your brain and mind what you've been, and you can see what other people have been as well, I'm finding. So that's the repast that's going on for me, which I'm sharing with you. And, yeah. And Robin said that Singh sang a song. I said, sang a song? What song did he sing? And she said he sang Moon River. And I said, oh my God, he sang Moon River? The last time I saw Singh perform was at a venue in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And he was the Birdsong Trio, him and 2 other guys, and they were cooking. And I was standing up, and I let my enthusiasm be seen. I didn't care who was watching me. I clapped along and danced along with them. And I got the crowd going. That wasn't my intention, but I realized it later. But Singh was very good, but he stopped the show when he sang. He's just him and the guitar, and he sang Moon River. Moon River, wider than a sun, my heart. He sang that so you could hear a pin drop, as they say. Everybody was mesmerized and attending to him because he was supernatural. He was magnificent. You could tell he was special. He was the grandson of the Sun, the Creator. And he showed it that when he sang that song. So if he sang that song at the funeral, I know I'm speechless because it was so grandeur, you know, so spectacular. And Robin did as I had suggested, and she gave me credit for gently nudging her to say the poem about, do not stand at my grave and cry, I did not die. And she made it clear that she was careful how she did it. She stopped, she spoke slowly and carefully. And one of the great news is they filmed it. I told them to film it. Maybe they were going to film it before I suggested it, but I'm glad they filmed it, so I'll be able to see Singing Robin perform and Steve perform and Anthony say his few words, and you know, all that went on. And for some reason Robin said love is forever, because I wondered that once, and I wanted to ask Charan Singh, how can I get over Edwin? I gave him my heart and he broke it. Now how can I get over him? Can you stop loving a person? And he never answered me. And Robin answered me today when she said love is forever. And, you know, Edwin made it very clear that he loved me and I loved him, and our love is forever. And I'm going to get to love him as my grandson when he's born to Robin and her husband. Okay. Oh, the other thing I told Robin, I said, you know, in Maria Cott's class, the writing group here at St. Francis of Assisi, which Robin is St. Francis of Assisi, in the writing group, Maria gave us a poem called A Smile to recite, which I did. I did a video about this. The writing groups are so spectacular. I usually do videos. I usually get excited and do videos about them. And so the poem, we were supposed to write whatever comes to mind, whatever we're inspired to write. And I wrote a poem about teeth. Because as I've said many times, I bit into an apple and broke my bridge. I have no teeth. I have a few teeth at the bottom. And I thought that was, and so I told Robin, Maria thought that was the funniest thing. She and I had such a big laugh over that. So then the next thing I know, I'm talking to Robin on the next call, and she says, Singh said he'll pay for you some top teeth. And then I said, oh, okay, that's good. And so I thought about it later, and I said, you know what? Robin did not like me laughing at myself not having any teeth, because Robin is a decorum person. You know, she's a stickler for decorum. You know, I think that's the right word. And so I bet you she talked Singh into paying for me some teeth. But that's okay. I'm ready to have teeth now. I could not have done the work I've done, the research that I've done, palling around with people on the bottom, if I didn't have missing teeth, because they would have been suspicious of me. But because I had missing more teeth than them, in most cases, except Cassandra doesn't have any teeth. They wouldn't have trusted me with their stories and their honesty. They thought I was one of them, and they wouldn't have thought I was one of them if I had had teeth and wore makeup and, you know, like that. So that's another reason why Gurinder Singh, the architect of heaven on earth, probably had me lose my teeth. Okay, let's see, what else? Everything I Do for You by Bryan Adams. He's a vegan. And he's a projection of Jesus Christ, Gurinder Singh, Bryan Adams is. And the words of the song go, look into my eyes, you will see what you mean to me. Search your heart and search your soul. Now that is, what happens with me and the sun. I look into him, and he has an eye. He is an eye. He's an enormous, a giant third eye, the third eye. That's what I call him, the third eye. And he has helped me to see that I mean something to him. He told me I'm beautiful, even though I have no teeth. He told me I'm his star. Can you imagine the Creator telling you, the star, telling you you're his star? And when you realize he doesn't suck up to people, he doesn't lie and flatter people, he's actually telling you the truth. This is a powerful thing I'm feeling. He's helping me to have self-esteem, to say the least. And then look into my eyes, you will see, and I wrote, note, eye contact, eye sex between you and me. Mama said I had to read between the lines. Okay. And I'm reading between the lines. The line of Robin, of Edwin, the father, Robin, the daughter, to be Robin, the mother, and Edwin, the son. You see, this is what I know. Supernatural way of knowing. Knowing the natural progression of things, because you go where attachments are. And Edwin is attached to Robin because Robin is a moral and just person. And she owes him. He took care of her. Now it's her turn to take care of him. Right. Okay, I thought I'd read to you the songs in this album, Supernatural, because number 1, Rising Sun. I want to be your rising sun. Then the beauty of these two songs, one is called Funky. Edwin Birdsong, Michelle Birdsong wrote this. Number 2, Rising Sun, Climax. Edwin Birdsong wrote that. I don't really know the difference. I do know that the chorus on this song is what I like about it. It's a lot of harmony, and it's just exquisite. It's just wonderfully beautiful. So beautiful. Okay, the third song is If I Ever. That's a kind of esoteric song now. Birdsong's the girl that trapped Birdsong, a groupie, black Muslim groupie, said that I write too esoteric. And that's one thing that stopped Edwin, I think, from writing with me. He believed her. And so, the daughter that they had together, Shabiba, I met her once. She's articulate. And she was huge. She was a big, big, fat girl who lived in the Middle East, because Edwin used to tell us she was a princess. So she went to the Middle East looking for her royal relatives, because she took him literally. You know, I think they thought she was kind of crazy, and he drove her, you know. You can't tell a child you're a princess and be bullshitting, you know. And Robin said she didn't come to the funeral. And I said that was smart, because her birth was a disgrace. For him to have a baby by another woman when he's still married to me is a disgraceful behavior, and the product is a disgrace. So she didn't disgrace the proceedings by showing up at the wedding. No, I mean the funeral. It was a funeral. I don't really do funerals. I find them barbaric, but it does appear that of all the kind of funerals you could have, Angela, Robin, and Singh, and Anthony, and the rest of them gave Edwin a very dignified, a very classy funeral, and I'm very glad, because he would have liked that. He said he did like that. He did like their funeral. He liked the fact that Singh sang a song for him, and he liked the fact that Robin spoke a poem for him. I'm so glad I encouraged Robin to come to the funeral, because I wanted her to have the closure. I went to my mother's funeral, And I'm glad, because I know now that she really did transition from that body. And I also know that she transitioned into the body of her mother again. And her mother, and she's Jindara Ransinger, my granddaughter. And her mother is Melanie Spear, this life. And so I can accept the continuation of my mother, actually the end of my mother and the beginning of my granddaughter. You see, I can let that go. I don't have to hang on to an image of my mother because she's not my mother anymore. She's my granddaughter. And I can make the change, the transition. Dr. Mike Murdoch, St. Paul, talked about the law of difference. Jindara is different. She's not really my mother. She is my grandmother. Although she does have those grooves and impressions she had when she was my mother. But the conscious part of her brain is as my granddaughter. Okay, so if I ever, and then number 4 is Any Color. Edwin Birdsong, Ronald Drayton, who's my Facebook friend, had, and Michelle Birdsong. Got a story about Ronald Drayton. I wanted to learn to play the guitar, so I sent away for a guitar course, a bunch of books, to teach myself to play guitar, which I never used because I was so busy with my children. And Edwin gave the books to Ronald Drayton, and he turns out to be a good guitar player. Well, one night, he came to our house around 11 o'clock, and I was pregnant with Sing, I believe. Yeah, with Sing. And he said, "Where is Edwin?" And I said, "He's in Manhattan with Stevie Wonder, I guess." And he said, "He shouldn't leave you here alone." And Ronald Drayton's mother was mentally ill in an institution. And he was very sympathetic to me. And they call him Head. And his son is in jail. And he's been trying to get his son released from jail. So, with my rise to power, I plan to help his, I plan to look into that. I have to see exactly if I think his son deserves to be out of jail. You know, if it's safe for society for his son to be out of jail. And if so, then I'd like to help him get his son out of jail because he's very concerned about it. He wants his son out of jail. Okay, the 5th song is Flow Through My Heart, Edwin Birdsong, Michelle Birdsong. These songs are more spiritual, than what it is. What it is down to earth, you know. What is this? Number 1, side 2, Turn Around, Hate, Communicate. Edwin Birdsong, Michelle Birdsong. I Love You, Michelle, written by Edwin Birdsong. Now, there's a video to this song at Michelle Birdsong YouTube channel called I Love You, Michelle, Yeah, Baby, if you want to check out the video. Down on the Beat, written by Edwin Birdsong. The Tune from Calico, and this is my favorite song on this album. It's a story about when Edwin and his band was trying to find a place to rehearse. I drove to Callicoon, that's in Pennsylvania, I think, trying to find some space to write this tune. Seen as far away as the moon. It was a long way away, and we were in our little Carmen Gear sports car that we bought from Marge Bledsoe, who was Jerry B., the disc jockey at WWRL's wife. She was a model. I think she used to model hair. She had beautiful long hair. Okay, this song I never quite understood. Edwin wrote this song, Last Exit Before the Toll. What does that mean? Last exit before. I don't know. But I saw what his name means. This is Eve, Mother of the Earth. D, daughter of the sun, win. And then I said to myself, win what? And Edwin said, win your recognition, win your power, win your money. See? Is that great? I'm telling you, there are messages in the words and with the supernatural that I ordered in when I named this album. I've had the ability to decode the words. Now let's read a little. When I was a kid in Tennessee, I used to look at the 45 records and wonder about who are these people? You know, the names of the people who were made it possible for the song, for the record to be made, and it intrigued me. This says, produced and engineered by Edwin. Is his name Edwin too? Where's that? Yeah, his name was Edwin too. Eddie Kramer for Remarkable Productions. Executive producer Edwin Birdsong, arranged and conducted by Edwin Birdsong. Now, Eddie Kramer was Jimi Hendrix's engineer, and Jimi Hendrix will sing Birdsong. And Sing Birdsong is my son and Edwin's song, Edwin Birdsong's son. And this picture, I love it. It's got naturalness, nature, the trees. It's got North Carolina, where Baba G comes, Jesus Christ, when he comes to America. It's got a motorcycle. He rode a motorcycle from New York to California, very macho thing to do. I love macho. The Fort Campbell, Kentucky, I was raised near Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and I used to go there all the time as a Girl Scout. And I love soldiers. There were soldiers at Fort Campbell. I learned and watched a parachute being folded. And Sing Birdsong was Jimi Hendrix, who was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and who used a parachute. He jumped on airplanes. He was a paratrooper. And he also lived for a time in Clarksville, Tennessee. And he was also Superman. And Superboy, the hometown, was modeled after Clarksville, Tennessee. See there? And number one is the sun. And he's a grandson of the sun. Isn't that amazing? That's Robin Birdsong, his sister, and that's his mother, the Michelle Birdsong. This is Stevie Wonder at the funeral, and Robin Birdsong at the funeral, and Stevie Wonder's one of his daughters, Sophia Morris, at the funeral. Okay, let's go on. The musicians of the assistant engineers were George Lopez, Phil Lee, and Dave Whitman. Musicians Edwin Birdsong played organ, piano, mellotron, synthesizer, and vocals. Kenny Wilson played the drums. He's a Scorpio, very nice guy from the South. Ronald had Drayton, guitar and acoustical guitar. John Solomon, they call him Shine, bass player. Faith. Special thanks to Johnny Griggs, Carl Hall. He did the background vocals. Tasha Thomas, background vocals. Patricia Austin, Jimmy Malowin, Jay Akins, art. He did this was Jimmy, was a friend of Edwin's, did this drawing. And then, I don't know what this was, Gary Bird, Jeff Troy, Hollywood, Span, Hank Span, I guess. Jay was a disc jockey in Connecticut. Dixie, J.B. Lamb, Pasta. Some of these, I don't know who these people are. Jones, something horror. Okay, that's all I know. Faith, Johanna Pagoda, I know. Johanna Pagoda was my husband in a previous life, and he was the one who made Stevie Wonder a superstar with his negotiating deals, and he is the one that got Edwin the great contract with Wes Farrell, who was married to Tina Sinatra, who Tina Sinatra was Frank Sinatra's daughter, and Frank Sinatra was Michael Bublé, who was Adam, the first ape, mate of Eve. And I am Eve. Hope Aki Alion. Aki, yes! Aki is a Chinese Jamaican who named him, and Edwin got together and came up with the name Sing Birdsong, presented to me, and I said, that's perfect, I love it. He told Edwin once, your approach to life is wrong. And I thought, what a profound statement that is. And he brought him and his blonde girlfriend brought a lot of toys to Queens. How we lived in Hollis, Queens. And for Christmas time, he brought Sing a lot of toys. And Sing had been crying during the night in Aki. And his blonde girl went in Sing's bedroom and got him and comforted him. I love Aki. He was also on TV. He played a villain. He was a great actor. And Charity, the Chambers Brothers, loved the Chambers Brothers. The hit Time Has Come Today, and we used to go up to their place in Stamford, Connecticut. Matter of fact, Edwin and I got married at the Chambers Brothers' place in Stamford, Connecticut, in their recording studio, in their home. And that's mentioned on the video, I Love You, Michelle, Yeah, Baby. We talk about the fact that, because you can see a picture of the outside of the Chambers Brothers' house, where Edwin, I'm angry with him because he stayed out the night before our wedding, and he's trying to say, oh, baby, oh, Fato, don't be mad, you know. And meanwhile, Roy Ayers is taking a picture of Edwin, trying to stop me from being mad at him. Optimism Sam McKee, he said he didn't want no part of this, so we won't talk about him. Steve Ellis, there were his agents at the William Morris Agency. Steve Ellis was a very nice young man. He was in Aries. Art direction and design, Kate, Abe. Is that Katz or Cave? Katz, Abe. Photography, Taki Kojima. Recorded at the Electric Lady Studios, New York City, 1973, Polydor Incorporated, 1700 Broadway. I have pictures of Sing and Robin when they're little kids. That was Jimi Hendrix studio, Sing studio. Edwin always said he thought they killed Jimmy. I don't know if they killed Jimmy. I know Sing Birdsong is Do That studio, Electric Lady studio, because he was Jimi Hendrix and it's his studio. So they should give that studio to him. Okay, is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else to say. I think I'm done with the 3 parts of the Edwin Birdsong story. And Sing and Robin and DeMichelle. So, is this a book? I don't know, maybe. If I get it transcribed, it could be a book. I'm trying to follow Edwin's will and write the book that he wanted me to write. Okay, it's DeMichelle Birdsong in New York City. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this presentation of this extraordinary man, Edwin Birdsong, and his extraordinary children and wife. So long.